Good day, everyone. Welcome to our 21st Century Literature from the Philippines and the World subject. For today's class, we will be having our lesson 6, which is about the creative literary adaptations, writing a close analysis and critical interpretation of literary texts, applying a reading approach. Okay. So now at first, parang mahaba at complicated pakinggan yung topic title natin for today, right? Pero huwag kayong mag-alala because what this really means is very simple. Ito lang yung tanong na how do we look at literature more deeply? Mas malalim. Okay? Kasi pag sinabi mong literature, hindi lang yan basta story or poem. It is a reflection of life, society, struggles, dreams, and even emotions. So today, we will learn how to go beyond the surface. Pag sinabi nating surface, yun nasa ibabaw lang. So we'll go beyond that, mas malalim, deeper. Hindi lang tayo titigil sa question at saka sa answer na ano ba yung sinasabi nitong tulang ito. Instead, we will also ask, bakit kaya ito sinulat ng author? Ano kaya yung ibig sabihin nito para sa akin bilang isang mambabasa, bilang isang reader, at saka paano kaya ito konektado sa history at society nung panahon na isinulat ito. Okay? So, I want you to think of a coffee, no? Sige, imagine natin ang isang kape. Think of it like this, reading literature is like drinking coffee. So, sa mga mahihilig dyan magkape, kung iinom ka lang ng instant coffee, mabilis pero mababaw ang lasa. As we all know, ang instant coffee ay nasa sachet lang, yung mga 3-in-1, no? Napakabilis, bubuksan mo lang yung sachet, meron ka na dyan naka-ready na mainit na tubig, isasalin mo na lang, so ayan na, ready na kaagad. Right? Pero kung iinom ka ng freshly brewed coffee, as we all know, medyo mabusisi ang paggagawa nitong brewed coffee na ito, ano, meron pang mga equipment and everything. So dito sa freshly brewed coffee, though matagal siyang gawin, kailangan mo ng mahabang pasensya, pero at the end or kung titikman mo na, ramdam mo yung aroma, yung tapang at saka yung richness ng kape. Right? So that's what we are trying to do in literature. We go for the brewed experience para mas malalim at mas meaningful. So class, let me ask you, have you find studying literature more exciting with multimedia supports where you can actively and collaboratively build knowledge structures using technology? Again, let me ask you a question. Mas na-e-enjoy nyo ba yung multimedia or mas na-e-enjoy nyo ba yung pag-aaral kapag merong multimedia? What do I mean with multimedia? Merong videos, merong music, merong pictures, no? So evidently, most of the learners like you have realized the huge impact of the use of multimedia in studying literature. It provides opportunities for learners to construct and reconstruct your ideas in audio and visual and formats. So most of you siguro, I'm sure, di pala siguro, ako ay nakakasiguro, okay? I'm sure would say yes. Okay, so most of the learners in this generation, mas gusto nila na meron silang visuals na nakikita. Gusto nila merong videos, merong music, merong pictures compared sa plain text lang. Okay, so bakit kaya? Because multimedia makes literature alive. Imagine if we study a poem, kung binasa lang natin ng plain text yung isang tula, minsan, no, kung hindi natin maiiwasan, parang medyo nakakaantok siya, right? Pero kapag sinamahan natin ng background music, no, biglang iba yung dating. Mas ramdam natin yung emotion. For example, kapag binasa natin ang Mi Ultimo Adios with soft instrumental music, mas mararamdaman natin yung lungkot at yung kagitingan ng huling pamamaalam ni Rizal. Or kapag naman pinanood natin ang isang spoken word performance ng pag-ibig sa tinubuang lupa, mas parang nabubuhay yung tinig ni Bonifacio. Kaya mahalaga ang multimedia. It allows us to construct and reconstruct ideas not only in text but also in audio and visual forms. And in this generation, na halos lahat ay digital natives, mas effective ito. So learning literature doesn't have to be boring. It can be powerful and creative. Creative representation of a literary text. So when we say creative representation, ang ibig sabihin ay we are not limited to traditional essays or reports. Instead, we present our interpretation of a text in a creative form. Halimbawa, may tula ka na gusto mong i-represent. Instead of just explaining line by line, pwede kang gumawa ng spoken word poetry or spoken poetry performance, no? Pwede kang gumawa ng short film, pwede kang gumawa ng digital art or painting inspired by the poem. Pwede ka ring, yung uso ngayon, nauuso, mga modernized version like turning into a rap or a TikTok skit, no? Or even a diary entry as if ikaw mismo yung persona sa tula. So what's the purpose? It is very simple to show that you understand the text not only in words but also in meaning and emotion. Okay? So remember class, creativity is not decoration. It is interpretation. So hindi tayo gumagawa ng drawing para lang maging maganda. We do it because it helps us express a deeper message. That's what makes representation meaningful. Okay. So one major approach in analyzing literature is to consider the writer's context. We ask, tinatanong natin, sino ba yung writer? What was his or her life like? Ano ba yung naging buhay niya? Ano ba yung buhay niya sa ngayon? What beliefs did they hold? Ano ang sitwasyon nila nung panahon na yon? Okay? So, for example, bibigyan ko kayo ng example para mas maintindihan ninyo. Andres Bonifacio. Okay, so he wasn't born rich. He worked as a warehouse clerk, selling canes and fans on the side to support his siblings. He didn't have the same level of education as Rizal, but he had deep patriotism and love for country. That's why his poem, Pag-ibig sa Tinubuang Lupa, is full of fire and passion. So siya ay nabuhay nung panahon ng oppression, kaya natural lang na yung mga akda niya or yung mga literary pieces niya ay panawagan sa kalayaan. So when we read his works, hindi lang natin tinitingnan yung words. Okay? But also his life story, yung kwento ng buhay niya. Because the author's background explains why the text exists. Without knowing the writer, we might miss the deeper message. Okay, so maraming mga advice na nagsasabi na bago ka magbasa ng kwento or bago mo alamin itong kwento na to, tula na to, or any literary piece, search first about the author. I-research mo muna yung tungkol sa sumulat kasi most probably there's a very high chance na yung creation niya, yung literary piece niya ay related sa pinagdaanan niya sa buhay. Okay? That's the writer's context. Next, we have the reader's context. This is all about us. Okay, our own experiences, our own beliefs and values as readers or bilang mambabasa. Now, let me ask you, kapag nagbabasa kayo ng love poem, pare-pareho ba yung dating sa inyo? What do you think? Pare-parehas lang ba ng interpretation and understanding ang bawat reader, ang bawat audience? Okay? Of course not. Okay? Hindi. Hindi yon pare-parehas lang. Magkakaiba tayo ng interpretasyon sa bawat sitwasyon, sa bawat literary piece. So, kung may boyfriend or girlfriend ka ngayon, maybe you'll feel kilig. Okay? Siguro kikiligin ka. Pero kung broken-hearted ka, maybe you'll feel pain. And kung single ka, maybe you'll feel longing, naghahanap. Okay? So that's exactly the point. Literature is powerful because it allows different interpretations depending on who reads it. Kung sino yung mambabasa, kung sino yung reader, kung sino yung audience. Okay? So for example, Rizal's Mi Ultimo Adios, a soldier might read it as a call to courage. Okay? Para mas lumakas ang kumpiyansa, ang determinasyon. A student might read it as an inspiration to study harder for the nation. And a parent might read it as a farewell letter full of sacrifice. Okay? So kaya kailangan nating tandaan, a text is not complete without the reader. It is we, the readers, who bring new meaning to every line we encounter. Ibig sabihin, iba-iba tayo ng interpretasyon. Okay? Dahil lahat ng tao or every individual has his or her own story. Okay? Own beliefs, own traditions. Kaya tayo ay mayroon ding iba't ibang interpretasyon. Okay? And now we have the text's context. Let's move on to this text's context. Ano naman yung ibig sabihin nito? So this one focuses on the text itself, its publishing history, its form, and the events surrounding its creation. For example, Pag-ibig sa Tinubuang Lupa. If you read it today without knowing history, you might just say, oh, it's a patriotic poem. But if you know it was written during the Spanish colonization, you realize it was more than just words. It was a call to arms. It was a spark for revolution. Okay? So same lang with Mi Ultimo Adios. If we read it without context, it sounds like a farewell poem. Okay? But knowing that Rizal wrote it on the night before his execution changes everything. Every word becomes heavier, every line becomes a heartbeat, every image becomes immortal. So, context transforms a poem from ordinary to extraordinary. Now, what is a poem? A poem is more than just a collection of verses, it is a creative and emotional expression. So, poems use heightened language, rhythm, and imagery to paint pictures in our minds and touch our hearts, no? So, kaya minsan mahirap siya intindihin kasi puno ng symbolism at saka metaphor. Ibig sabihin, hindi directly inilalagay kung ano yung gustong iparating. Gusto ng author na nag-iisip pa yung mga readers bago nila mas maunawaan kung ano nga ba yung mensahe na gustong iparating sa audience. Okay? Pero ganito isipin ninyo, reading a poem is like solving a puzzle. Okay? Every line, every word is a clue. The writer leaves hints, and it is up to us to discover the hidden treasure of meaning. So when we read poems, huwag lang tayong tumingin sa surface. Again, yung surface, yun lang yung ibabaw na factor. Okay? Halimbawa sa swimming pool, yun lang yung nasa ibabaw. Okay? So let's ask, what is the deeper feeling here? What is the message beneath the metaphor? That's when poetry becomes truly alive. So I have here the example poem. It is a Victorian poem. Okay, so let's take the poem, the example. This reflects the Victorian values of wisdom and resilience. I-practice natin ang poem analysis. What do you think this means? Let me read this for you. The example, here's an example from a butterfly that on a rough, hard rock, happy can lie, friendless and all alone on this unsweetened stone. Now let my bed be hard, no care take I. I'll make my joy like this small butterfly, whose happy heart has power to make a stone a flower. This is according to or written by William Henry Davis. So ano kayang ibig sabihin nitong tula na ito? Okay, I'll give you a minute to reflect and to think what could be the meaning of this poem. Okay. So again, this is a Victorian poem. So during no panahon na isinulat ito, society was full of challenges. Merong economic inequality, merong violence, merong social struggles, and yet this poem encouraged people to embrace joy amidst hardship. So it reminds us that literature always speaks to the needs of the time. So noong Victorian era, people needed resilience dahil nga sa mga nangyayari sa paligid, no, panay negative, kailangan nila ng resilience or yung mental ability to recover quickly from depression, illness, or misfortune o kaya naman in Tagalog ay para mas tumatag, para hindi matinag. Okay? So, etong poem na to ay magandang example para mabago yung emotions or makapagdulot ng positive insights patungkol sa mga readers or sa mga audience. So, another thing is that today, no, in our time of global challenges, nagkaroon ng pandemic, merong inflation, ang daming bagyo, no, climate change, pollution, ang dami pang mga issues sa Philippines, panay corruption, no? So we also need resilience. That's why this poem is not only historical, it is timeless. So kahit isinulat ito noong Victorian era, kung mapapansin natin, no, I hope you can notice na even in this generation, even today, no, ka-relate-relate pa rin itong poem na 'to. Again, it is timeless, okay? So, kaya nakikita din ninyo, class, poems may be old, but their messages continue to live on in our present lives. That is one of the magical strength of poems. Okay? So now let's forward. Okay? Nilagay ko dito yung um, understanding para meron kayong copy. Hindi ko muna ipinakita para maisip niyo muna, no? Magkaroon kayo ng mental activity to think ano kaya ang ibig sabihin nitong poem na to. But I also included the written explanation para pwede ninyong balikan. Okay? So now let's move forward with this one. Our next poem analysis content would be this one. Life lives, life dies, life loves, life cries, life gives up, life tries, but life looks different through everyone's eyes. Okay, so para lang siyang gulong ng palad. Okay? So siguro ngayon masaya tayo, baka bukas hindi na gano'n masyado, 'no? Siguro ngayon marangya tayo sa buhay, 'wag tayong manghahamak ng ibang tao or magdi-disrespect ng ibang tao dahil baka dumating yung panahon na kailangan natin yung tulong nila, 'no? Kasi tayo naman yung nasa ibaba, tayo naman yung nasa ilalim ng gulong ng palad. Okay, and another thing is that life looks different through everyone's eyes. Merong mga nag-struggle na positive outlook pa rin yung naiisip nila sa buhay, no? Positive thinking pa din, and meron din naman mga mayayaman na nasa kanila na lahat, merong karangyaan, merong pera, kahit anong gustong, o kahit anong magustuhan, gustong bilhin, meron silang means to do that. Kaso hindi pa rin sila fully, masaya or fulfilled or satisfied, no, because they are looking for more. Siguro hindi na sa financial aspect, but other things, maybe like family or the people na nakakasalamuha, meron ngang pera pero hindi naman totoo yung mga taong nasa paligid mo, no? Or ginagamit ka lang baka, okay? What else? Yung support na kinakailangan mo ay hindi mo nakukuha, okay? So, in every situation, in every individual, iba yung tingin natin, outlook natin sa buhay. Okay? Yun yung gustong iparating sa atin nitong second poem that we have. Now, let's proceed with this one. Pag-ibig sa Tinubuang Lupa by Andres Bonifacio. So, kanina pa kasi nababanggit yung Pag-ibig sa Tinubuang Lupa. Ano nga ba yun? Or bigyan ko kayo ng excerpt or iilan na mga lines mula doon sa creation or literary piece ni Andres Bonifacio. But before that, why do you think he wrote this one? Bakit kaya sinulat niya ito? Okay, so because he wanted to awaken the hearts of Filipinos, he wanted to see that the greatest form of love is not just romantic love, but love for country. Aling pag-ibig pa ang hihigit kaya sa pagkadalisay at pagkadakila? Gaya ng pag-ibig sa tinubuang lupa, aling pag-ibig pa wala na nga wala. Ulit-ulitin mang basahin sa isip at isa-isahing talastasing pilit ang salita't buhay na limbag at titik ng isang katauhan, ito'y namamasid. Banal na pag-ibig pag ikaw ang nukal sa tapat na puso ng sino't alinman, imbit taong gubat, maralit at mangmang, nagiging dakila at iginagalang. Kayong mga dukhang walang tanging sikap kundi ang mabuhay sa dalit at hirap, ampunin ang bayan kung nasa ay lunas sapagkat ang ginhawa niya ay sa lahat. Ipahandog-handog ang buong pag-ibig hanggang sa mga dugo'y ubusang itangis. Kung sa pagtatanggol buhay ay mapatid, ito'y kapalaran at tunay na langit. Again, balikan natin yung tanong, why do you think Bonifacio wrote Pag-ibig sa Tinubuang Lupa? It is to encourage Filipinos to fight for our country's independence, as it states that the greatest love there is love for country. He also said that this love should be learned to seek for justice, fight for independence, and struggle against tyranny and foreign invaders. Sabi nga ni Bonifacio, this love is not only about words. Hindi lang ito, I love the Philippines. It has to be shown in action by fighting for independence, seeking justice, and resisting foreign rule. So imagine you are a young Filipino during Bonifacio's time. You see Spaniards mistreating your fellow Filipinos. You see poverty, injustice, and abuse. Then you hear Bonifacio's poem. It would feel like a thunder in your heart, pushing you to rise, to resist, to fight. That is how literature can be revolutionary. It doesn't just reflect society, it changes society. Okay, now we have the next one, Mi Ultimo Adios by Jose Rizal. No, this is one of the most important poems in our history. And ilang beses na rin natin nabanggit, kani-kanina lang ang Mi Ultimo Adios. Ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin nito? So, to give you a hint or overview, this was Rizal's farewell poem written on the eve of his execution, December 30, 1896. Farewell, my adored land, region of the sun caress, pearl of the Orient Sea, our Eden lost. With gladness I give you my life, sad and repressed, and were it more brilliant, more fresh at it and at its best, I would still give it to you for your welfare at most. On the fields of battle, in the fury of fight, others give you their lives without pain or hesitancy. The place does not matter. Cypress, laurel, lily white, scaffold, open field, conflict, or martyrdom site. It is the same if asked by home and country. I die as I see tints on the sky begin to show and at last announce the day after a gloomy night. If you need a hue to dye your matutinal glow, pour my blood and at the right moment spread it so and gild it with the reflection of your nascent light. My dreams, when scarcely a lad adolescent, my dreams were already a youth, full of vigor to attain, were to see you, gem of the sea of the Orient, your dark eyes dry, smooth brow held to a high plane, without frown, without wrinkles and shame, and of shame without stain. Okay, naulit lang for this part. Alright, so again, we have the same question. Why do you think Rizal wrote Mi Ultimo Adios? Again, this was Rizal's farewell poem written on the eve of his execution, December 30, 1896. Okay, so just think if um if you knew you would die tomorrow, kung alam mo na ikaw ay mamamatay kinabukasan, what would you write? Anong isusulat mo? So si Rizal, ang pinili niya ay sumulat patungkol sa pag-ibig, sa pag-asa at sa paniniwala, or love, hope, and faith. So why did he write it? Four reasons. The first one is to express his deep love for the Philippines. So Rizal wanted to express his deep love for his country and his willingness to die for its freedom from Spanish oppression. Second one is to inspire Filipinos to continue the fight for freedom. He hoped his words would inspire his fellow Filipinos to continue the fight for justice, dignity, and independence. The third one is to say farewell to his family, friends, and countrymen. So Rizal used the poem to say goodbye to his loved ones, giving them comfort and strength. And lastly, to show faith in God and acceptance of his fate. So the poem shows Rizal's calm acceptance of death, no? Very kalmado siya kahit alam niya na last day niya na ng araw na sinulat niya, the next day pala, no? Last day niya na kinabukasan. Ano kaya yung nararamdaman niya, no? And dito sa Mi Ultimo Adios, malalaman natin kung ano yung emotions and feelings ni Rizal. Aside from that, his faith in God and his hope for a better future for the Philippines. In short, Rizal wrote Mi Ultimo Adios to leave behind a legacy of love, sacrifice, and hope for the Filipino people. Okay, so actually, class, what's very inspiring here is that Rizal could have written words of hatred or fear, no? Kasi, um, kapag hawak mo yung idea na last day mo na kinabukasan, syempre ang mararamdaman mo natatakot ka, no? That's the instinct of people. Matatakot, tapos magagalit, bakit ganito yung sitwasyon ko, bakit nandito ako sa ganitong posisyon. But look at what he wrote, right? As for inspiring others, the rest of his countrymen, okay? Hindi, namutawi, hindi nanguna yung takot at galit kay Jose Rizal. He wrote with peace, love, and hope. That is why Mi Ultimo Adios is not only a farewell poem, it is a gift to the nation. And until now, class, Rizal's words reminds us that true love for a country is not about comfort, but about sacrifice. Okay? So to wrap up our discussion, we learned that to truly understand literature, we need to consider three contexts. No, the first one is the writer's context, understanding the life, the values, and the struggles of the author. The second one is the reader's context, which is bringing in our own perspective and personal experience. And then the third one is the text's context, knowing the historical and cultural background of the work. So when we analyze with this three, no, mas lumalalim yung appreciation natin sa literature. Hindi lang siya story or tula, it becomes a living mirror of life. So class, always remember, literature inspires, teaches, and transforms. Kaya every time you read a poem or story, ask yourself, what does this mean for me, for my community, and for my country? That is the true power of literature. That would be all for today. Thank you and goodbye.